Welcome to Beach Nerds. Marcus May, Chris Powell, and today we have Kevin Adair. What's up, y'all?
Hello.
What's happening, fellas?
What it do?
What it be? And what it ain't?
Well, I know what it ain't. I can tell you what, the price of gas ain't good. I can tell you that.
Hey, I don't even
When it
look at
costs
it, man.
$40 to fill up a Honda, boys, we got some problems.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
no kidding.
I'll be honest with you. I wish I had a Honda.
Well, my wife's got a little grocery getter, and I'm here to tell you, I drive that thing around Tuskegee more than my 4x4 for obvious reasons.
Sure.
But unbeknownst to me, let me just tell you, this is a funny story, okay? So unbeknownst to me, I'm riding around in this little car, right? And it's just a little beater, just a little grocery getter, no big deal. We're in Tuskegee. We're in Tuskegee. And there's a bumper sticker on the back of this Honda. And I'm going to give you two guesses what that bumper sticker was. It starts with a T and ends with a P. And it was just the craziest thing. I said, baby, we are going to get hurt. I was like, we need to get this thing off this car. I try to stand in front of it when we're at the Dollar General. I'm like, hey, look over there. Not even playing, true story. True. So, but yeah, $40 to fill up that little thing. I wanted to vomit. It's terrible.
Yeah, I hear you.
I remember when cars like that were, $15, $20 max.
All day, man.
Max.
Look, way
And
back
that was
when.
in the past, what?
5 years?
5 years? Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember when gas was, I'm probably a little older than you guys, but I remember when gas was 79 cents a gallon.
Bro, let me tell you, when I graduated high school, it was about that. It was about 85 to 87 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
And boy, I did not know how good it was then. Wow.
Yeah.
No.
$5, drive it all week.
I mean, that was a beautiful thing. And man, I'm telling you, $10 will get you a long way in a week. Now, $10 won't buy you, let's say, a gallon of gas, a Mountain Dew, and maybe a Snicker bar.
That's
And
right.
that's the honest to God truth. That's
true.
for real.
Well, just look at, for me, it's the groceries.
Yeah.
Like, they have literally doubled in the past 4 years.
You got a house full of children, too.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just buying some. I mean, I've tried to literally cut back on things, just like not buy a bunch of snacks, because snacks is clearly going to cost a lot of money.
That's
But
right.
just buy essentials. But every week you cannot get out of the grocery store, or at least I cannot, for less than $300.
Oh, and
That's
don't
good
even
for
talk
you.
about fresh produce.
Yeah.
Fresh produce got insane.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere you go, boys. It's everywhere you go. And it's now me, I got to eat certain things. I got to stay away from preservatives and all that stuff. 'Cause I'm trying to eat healthy, Marcus remembers me when I was about 240, 250 pounds.
Yeah.
No, well,
Yeah, I was a big dude.
Yeah.
I was a big old dude. And then I realized I don't need to be a big dude no more.
Yeah.
And the doctor told me that too. The doctor's like, hey man, you need to go ahead and do this. So I went ahead and did that. And I actually lost, it was right at 100 pounds in a year. And it was just my diet alone. And all I changed was I just took out sugar and diet drinks. I took out sugar and like soda pops. That's it. That's all I did.
Sugar.
my thing,
Exercise. I hate exercising. Exercising is like practicing for real sports. I cannot stand going to a gym. I hate it.
Yeah.
So
I used to be a freak about it. And then I'm a big dude. I've always been a big dude, but I used to be like a lot chiseled more as a big dude. And my motto used to be like, hey, look, if I'm still getting hot chicks, I'm all right. My doctor told me about 2 years ago, you still got a hot chick, but it's time for you to drop a little bit. So,
yeah. We all kind of face our, once you kind of reach that certain age, like, all right, enough is enough.
Yeah. There's a lot of things this whole body can handle anymore like it used to. So
you ain't never lied, boy. Oh my gosh, I wake up every morning something new pop. It's the worst thing in the world. And I'm gonna tell you, getting older for men, they do not prepare you for getting older as a man. And I'm kind of mad at my dad for not preparing me. Was once you reach about 30 and 40 years old, things change.
Oh yeah.
And you can sit down too fast and you will hurt something
incredibly. It's a lot harder to crank that chainsaw up every once in a while too.
I'm not gonna delve too far into that, but just trust me, boys, when I tell you, you sit down mighty peculiar. Especially in the summertime.
There you go.
Oh,
Supplement fall.
that's right.
Well,
Don't
I'll
fall
tell
down
you,
too quick, boys.
I do remember back in the day. I mean, I guess at this point, I've been watching you in some capacity, whether in person or on Facebook for 20 years. You know, what I mean,
Ah, man,
I remember. We go back to the Strut and Duck days.
man, way back when that's where I first met you, Marcus.
Yeah,
I remember that plain as day, man. I remember looking out across that haze and the strut and duck. Are you familiar with the strut and duck, Chris?
I'm not. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
well, let
just,
me tell you, it was a little hole in the wall bar,
and
but all they served was beer.
little. I
Yeah, when
mean,
I'm
it
telling you
was.
little, it wasn't as big as a living room.
Yeah,
right.
Well, it would be about 200 people in this little bitty room packed in, and everybody smoked and everybody had a beer.
Oh Lord.
Well, there was a gap of clean air about that high above your head, and then it was smoke above that. So if you waved, I'm not kidding, man. I'd be standing on this little bitty corner stage and singing, and I could see the smoke, and I would move my guitar, and it would wave the
Move.
smoke like a wave, an ocean wave. It was the wildest thing.
I'm
But
thinking
yeah,
that's in Auburn, right?
yeah, it was
yeah.
in Auburn, and that was
You know, the last bar that I used to get, Silver Spur.
I remember the silver. I remember the name, the Silver Spur.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of in the mall, I think, or something.
Yeah,
It
it
was,
was near the
it was
mall.
a little more. It wasn't a dive by any means. You
Oh,
know.
the duck was a dive.
This
It,
was
Yeah.
probably one of the greatest little dive bars I think that's ever happened. And
Yeah.
I
truth.
love dive bars. I've been to a lot of them. That one was so unique because of how small and intimate it was.
Hey,
And they had a huge like backyard with like games and stuff, but everyone piled in. Then you had people sitting out in the parking lot listening to live music on
yep.
their
Yeah.
tailgate, drinking beer out of the cooler. Like it was one of those
Like
kind
a
of bars.
fraternity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
like a big tailgate. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it was a great time, and that's where I first remember watching you play music was
Man.
there, and
Yeah, and, it seems like it wasn't that long ago, man. But yeah,
it really does not. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I can
and then
remember playing when I tell y'all playing late nights at the Duck. Oh my good gracious, to be on a Thursday now. All right, so we would start at about 11 o'clock, 11:30. We would play till about 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. And at the time, I lived an hour away. And so I would drive from Auburn to my house, and then I would stay there for, maybe about an hour. I'd stay just long enough to get me a bowl of cereal and take a shower, and then I'd turn around and go to work.
Good Lord.
So I'd work all day. I'd come back home. I'd take a nap for about maybe 2 or 3 hours, and I'd turn right back around and go to the oyster bar.
yeah,
The oyster bar.
yes, that
Yeah.
was
Wow.
probably where I saw you the most was Oyster Bar because I was a regular there, a lot more than I probably should have. But
Boy, I can tell you the things I've seen at that oyster bar. I don't want to go too deep into that because I might implicate something that's illegal. Because there was some crazy stuff went down there at that oyster
oh
bar.
man, that was a dive bar in its own right under a restaurant front.
Right, right. It was like Cheers with an attitude. It was like everybody knows your name and watch your mouth. It was great.
You've been a Tuskegon your whole life?
Well, yes and no. I was born and raised here in Tuskegee. We've got farmland out here, and my family's been from here forever and a day. And then I moved from here to the lake up there at Lake Jordan in Wetumpka, and that's where my dad's from, is up there. And then my other family's got here in Tuskegee.
Sure.
And so I stayed there for the longest time. And then I decided for some idiotic reason, God, this is a stupid reason, I moved to Auburn. Okay. And so I moved to Auburn, and I moved in something that would rival the house on Home Alone. And it was the dumbest move I've ever made in my life for two
Wow.
reasons. One, I figured out real quick, it don't matter how big your house is, you ain't gonna stay in but one room. So, and so I'm looking around and I'm like, I am such an idiot. I'm the dumbest person alive. And so I was just so tickled. And the little farm that we have over here, my parents have a little house right there. And so I'm disgusted. Auburn's closing in on me. Man, side story, squirrel. So one morning I'm sitting there, right? And I hear it's Saturday morning. I'm tired, I'm like, I just want to sleep. I just want to sleep on Saturday morning. It's like 5:30 in the morning, and I hear something that sounds like El Dorado restaurant, and it's blaring, buddy. I'm talking, it's
Okay.
blaring. And I'm like, what in the world? I'm thinking it's like a Mexican ice cream truck or something riding down Conservation Drive. And I'm like, what the heck? And so I look outside, and my ears figure out where this is coming from. Well, it's coming from across the way. They're doing some sheetrock at 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and they have, honest to God, a radio in there that would have rivaled the War Eagle Supper Club.
Sure.
And I'm
Good
talking,
choice.
this thing was rattling windows, cuz. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, damn this. And so I get my little truck, and I'm sitting there walking around in my Jerusalem cruisers. That's what I call flip-flops. And so I'm bopping along, and I walk up to the house, and they're building this house like two houses behind me. And I'm like, man, I'm like, hey, hey. And nobody says anything. So I'm like, okay, well, I know somebody's in here. So I walk on in, right? And I see this giant radio with lights. It had, man, it looked literally like I just walked in the El Dorado restaurant.
All
It
right.
sounded it was loud. It was like the Velcro Pygmies playing Mexican music. It was
Come
loud,
on.
incredibly
Yeah.
loud. So, which they're awesome, by the way. They're still doing stuff. So
Yeah,
anyway,
it's still doing.
yeah, they're still rocking. And so I'm standing there in front of this gigantic 18,000 watt radio at 5:30 in the morning that's in my neighborhood. So, and so I'm looking around, and I can't figure out how to cut the thing off. So my patience started getting really thin, really fast. And so I see this utility knife sitting there on the side of the little desk thing. Yeah, you guessed it. I reached right over there and said, "Fuck!" I cut the power to it, boy. I mean, I cut the cables and everything. I'm just cutting whatever I can find.
Sure.
So this little Mexican dude, about 4 foot tall, he comes running in there, right? And he was doing sheetrock, right? Now, mind you, um, he was covered just solid white. I'm talking
Right.
white as a ghost. He looked like one of them. You remember watching that show with all them Aboriginal type people and it was all covered in white paint and
Oh,
he
for
wasn't
sure.
about 4 foot tall? That's what it looked like. Except it ran up to me and it had eyes that big around because it sees this. At the time, I'm 250 pounds and I got a knife and I'm just attacking this radio. So he's like, sir, 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 sir. And I just turned around with this knife in my hand. I said, no, man. And he understood the no mas. So I left there and I went back to my house that I overpaid and so much
Yeah.
for and wasted so much time. It was just terrible. So that was the last straw right there. When they're building on top of me, boys, it's time to go. And so I call my dad and I'm just so frustrated. I'm like, Auburn sucks. I love Auburn's nightlife. It's great, but the living situation sucks. It's awful. The people building on top of people, and I don't like that. So he's like, man, well, this little house right here just came up, and I'm like, which one? He goes, the one right here beside our farm, and I'm like, shut your face.
Yeah.
Honest to God, that conversation was on a Saturday afternoon. By Tuesday morning, I was in Tuskegee.
Yeah.
Tuesday morning, I had a cattle trailer loaded up in one of the fanciest neighborhoods in Auburn, Alabama, with a 5,500 silver sterling bullet, making all the noises. It sounded like something Jerry Clower would have drove.
I hear you.
And I had it backed up. I mean, there's cow shit all over the place, and I'm throwing in just all sorts of furniture. I don't even care if it scratches. I'm telling, just throw it in, child. Just throw it in. We got to go. And so I moved out from down there, and then I lived out here in Tuskegee, and it's been a great move. I love it.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. What about you, boys?
Hey, look, that's great. That's a great
Story.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to get back into, because I don't even know if I really know the story all the way around. It's like, what really got you into music? I mean,
that's a fantastic question, Bubba. You know, as many times as we've hung out, I don't even think we even talked about it.
I know. Yeah,
We're either talking football or Auburn or mute something. You know, well, that's a great question. Well, this is pretty crazy. All right, so this started back when I was in second grade. Okay, so when I was in second grade, and I can remember this just like it was yesterday, I'm sitting in my little chair, and there's a piano directly behind me, and there's a guy who's actually a savant. This man, he's a man now, and he was a fantastic piano player when he was that little. He was just one of those guys that just had it right. Well, he's playing this music behind me, and I I'm listening to this music and it sounds beautiful. I have no idea what it is. My little old podunk self has never heard anything like this before. We didn't have cable. I was out there twisting antennas. That's how far in the woods we was, right? So I'm hearing this beautiful music. And then I turn around and I see him, how he's moving his hands on the keyboard, right? And I'm listening. And it started dawning on me that I'm kind of picking up on what he's doing. I'm figuring, okay, that's low and that's high and everything in between.
Sure.
Well, then I come back in at break. All right, so I'm at break. Now, I want to go play this piano because the boy's name was Chad. I said, I want to do what Chad was doing. That sounded really good, and I might be able to pick up me some chicks or something with it.
Sure.
I'm always thinking ahead, I'm always thinking ahead. I want to have 4 or 5 girlfriends, little like that, get all the candy in the world. So I'm sitting there listening, and I figured out, I went do 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 do, and I started remembering what he was making. I didn't even know it was a note. I was just remembering the sounds, right? Remembering the sounds. Unbeknownst to me, I'm playing Phantom of the Opera, okay, and I'm just playing Phantom of the Opera on the piano, and I'm doing music of the night, and the teacher comes around and she's like standing in the hallway and she's looking at me and I'm like, oh, I'm busted, dude. I'm not supposed to be in here. I'm supposed to be outside playing basketball with the boys. And she goes, where's Chad? And I said, he's not in here. And she goes, who's playing the piano? I said, well, I am. And she said, where's your sheet music? I said, I don't have no sheet music. And she goes, well, do you have a piano at home? I said, no, ma'am. She said, well, you play this one anytime you want to. And so from then it picked up to where I had a couple of people checking me out and studying me, trying to figure out, how do you do this or how do you do that and how do you see music? I'm self-taught. I've never been taught to read music. I have no clue how to read music. I've tried. My brain is like, I would rather be fishing. I don't know what's going on here on this piece of paper.
Well, I can relate. So I've been playing guitar since I was 7.
But you get it. You get
self-taught as well, but it's all by ear. To your point, you heard something, you knew the notes, you understood how to replicate that or try to figure out how to replicate that. Whereas it's just a natural feeling, right? And I'm not on any level like what you do by any means, but it very much there's different people in life. My wife, she plays violin. Ooh. She knows how to read music. That's how she all that kind of stuff. Me, it's all by ear. All by ear. I can listen to a song and pretty much break down the chords and notes of a song. So that's cool. Yeah.
You get it. Yeah.
It's kind of funny. My wife used to do competitive piano when she was like 6, 7 years old. She'd do battles with like all the Oriental perfectionists, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And we've got a grand piano in the living room, and I learned how to play. I'm very novice, but I learned what I know on freeandeasyguitar.com.
Yeah, right.
They run you through some riffs and everything, and it's kind of cool when it's like that because I am not the guy that's going to sit there every day. And I did go get lessons for bars because I couldn't get bars right, but it's insane to think about like his wife getting taught piano and my wife doing the piano, and then we just kind of like pick up a few
fall right in there.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's strange, It's hard to it's hard to explain to somebody that can't. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just hear it's your ear.
When you're taught by it, when you're taught to do it, and you're taught to read music, and it's very much a lesson versus a passion.
Sure.
That's kind of the way I look at the difference, because for me, it was something I loved to do. And I just kind of figured it out my own way. Like I didn't have, growing up, I didn't have the money to have guitar lessons. So there wasn't no guitar lessons either.
It's something coloring outside the lines that actually works later on in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And it was something I enjoyed. It was something that I could understand by listening to it. But I can hear. So, and the funny part is, my wife, she can read music, but she cannot listen to a song and tell you the chord or the note specifically that is played in. And so I can listen to a song and tell you exactly what that is.
Yeah, what
it shows you the difference. Like it for me, it was just a passion. It was just something that I enjoyed, and I figured it out. But as a lesson, I'm not saying she's not good at it. I'm just saying there's two different strengths here, and And I don't think everyone understands that, because a lot of people were forced into music through school or
Right.
whatnot.
Or
And
parents.
said, yep. And you got to do this, and we're giving you lessons, and they had to learn it the proper way, but there was no passion in it.
Exactly.
So when you find someone that learns how to do this and did it on their own, then you know that that person really, really loves what they're doing. And I think
And you can hear it.
that's a part.
And you know, excuse me, I've seen this 100 times, and I see it every day. Actually, people that are aspiring musicians, that are aspiring artists, the worst thing they can do, is get on social media and start scrolling through reels and seeing these people that play blistering, lightning fast, incredibly complicated licks that took them 30 years to perfect, that they will never use in any song, situation, studio whatsoever. That is so deflating. You know, when you have a young kid that's like, well, I'm just happy learning this DCG, you know, and then he picks up and he sees this guy, and I don't know what this fad is about beating up acoustic guitars and using them for like a drum. I don't know what that's about, but stop it.
Well, basically, it's 4 chords, right? I mean, most country music's 4 chords, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I try to limit mine to 4. I'm a
I think it's
studio
good,
nightmare.
though, you know?
They'll say, Kev, what key are we in? I'm like, I don't know this.
Well, you know, I think music has evolved over time, and it's everyone's trying to up the next artist, you know, the next big artist. You know, I think Garth brought a lot of a lot of guitar changes, especially to country, and then you had a lot of people trying to follow that up. But if you go back to the greats of country music through all the years, I mean, the Whalens and the Cashes, and talking more recently, the Straits and the Jacksons and all of the like classic country artists of time. They were simple. They kept it simple, but their songs resonated. But they had those cool riffs and cool guitar solos and all those things that like hooked people, you know, for lack of.
It's like good blues music, man. If you tilt your hat, and go somewhere, that's just great music.
It's
and
man,
then you had the artists that came along, and look, I'm not knocking Garth. I mean, Garth was one of the greatest entertainers of all time, but he very much kind of changed some of the dynamics around country music. And then you had people trying to follow that act. And when you got down that path, then it just completely changed and very much changed country music all the way around. And now the funny thing is you're seeing a lot of the simple back to the basics start to come back. And that's what I like to see. I mean,
I am thrilled to see this, actually. And I have been talking about this, and I've told the guys in studio about it many, many times. What you're seeing is a full circle, okay? You have so many, now I'm going to use this term loosely now, they identify as country music artists, okay? You got to look at what country music is, okay? Country music is more than a banjo. It's more than a steel guitar. Country music is a way of life. It's a story. It's happiness. It's sadness. Sometimes music isn't pretty. Sometimes stories aren't always happy endings. And that's what country music talks about. And see, it's insulting to me when there's artists that see when a genre is doing well or a genre has an uptick, and they want to jump on that particular train and then they're dragging along their fans, you know, and then pretending like, oh, these are country music fans. No, they're not. They're not country music fans. They're your fans. And what you're doing is you're veering away from what made them your fans, trying to get more fans, but in actuality, you're destroying yourself.
So
you know, the number one
let's
country
just
song,
talk about a prime before we jump to the next subject. Beyonce.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Dude,
She's the number one country song right now, right?
She has the number one country song because her fans are allowed.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, no doubt.
But my point. But to your point, she found a group of people an audience that she had not tapped into, and said, well,
Exactly.
let me tap into this audience and let me see what I can do here. And it's so fake and it's so unauthentic, man. It
Oh,
grosses me out. It
it
literally
is.
grosses me out because, and look, I'm all for, mixing music. Like, rock and country have always been kind of
Yeah,
hand in
blues
hand.
and country, blues and rock.
Blues
I
and
mean, it's
country,
always, yeah.
yes. But when you take a pop artist and then they throw themselves into specifically the country scene,
Yeah.
and they want to act country. I mean, look at her album cover of her riding a horse
Dude,
with
the
American
spoon over her
flag.
undercarriage. She has a ladle
Yeah,
over her hoo-ha,
yeah.
and it's on the, I mean,
And
what?
let me say something. I read an article earlier where literally the left side of her fan base
Mhm.
is now ridiculing her, saying, "How dare you have an album cover carrying an American flag?" So she's literally,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, but
Well, if intentions were to, and they're not by any means, but if intentions like that were to sort of help gel human beings together or something like that, it would be one thing. But it's not. I mean, it's an opportunist, and I
Apple
mean, obviously she's
money
going to
move
make
on.
millions off of it. So business
And
wise,
we're touching on something that I had an epiphany. And I have these little talks with myself because I'm the only one that listens to me mainly. But I had something dawn on me, and this is a true story, boys. And this is and talking about the left and the right and everything in between. Check this out. So I'm riding down the road, and I'm having two different conversations, okay, with two different guys at the same time on Facebook, right?
sure.
One of the guys, and I'm not even making this up. One of the guys is a Harvard professor. He has a biomedical engineer in radio. The man is a genius. When I tell
Yeah,
you, and the nicest man you'll ever meet. Okay. Now, on the other hand, I'm talking to this guy who is completely on the other end of the spectrum. I'm talking about complete opposite of Harvard. I mean, he might be able to spell Harvard. I don't know if he put the R in it or not. It might just say Harvard.
sure. Oh,
So, but it dawned on me. I'm like, these two guys right here would be together like oil and water. I was like,
right.
but both of them love me. Now, if you can love the same person, why can't you love one another?
That's
Yep.
right.
You
Yep.
see what I'm saying?
Well,
And
that's
so
what I've always loved about music, real music.
bring them
Not
together.
not the pop version, but the authentic, telling a story. What you painted out earlier, how this is a story, how this is a lifestyle, how this is truly connecting people
Yeah,
together. And that's what music has always been intended for. That's what makes the best artists always the greatest artists, is the connection of people. Because I've been to so many concerts in my life, and I have sat beside people that I would have never expected to be a fan of that artist I was sitting there to watch.
That's right.
yep. And been
And
cool. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. And it was such a cool experience. And they sung louder than I did. And so that's what I love about music. Is kind of one of those things. It's like sports in a lot of ways. Like
Hmm.
sports has that common denominator of bringing people together because of the love of your team.
That's right.
Music has that, but it's in your soul. Like it's you're connecting with someone else's soul because they
That's
feel where
exactly
you're coming
right.
from, and they feel where that music is made. And what I hate about this is, like I said, you can mix it together, but when you just cross over strictly to make money
Mm.
and see it as an opportunity just to make money, that's where I have the problem. So
Right.
I'm loving the fact that old, just real authentic music is coming back.
Well,
Hmm.
And
one thing about the authentic music that's coming back is it's bringing back the rebel. Music used to be rebellious.
That's right.
And on all genres, it used to be, we're going to talk about the man. We're going to talk about some part of the man, and we're either going to kill him or clean him. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things, and I think it's bringing back a really cool thing will make people think.
Yep.
You know,
And
make people think.
and that's the like Marcus was saying, that's the natural organic thing behind music. It's all in frequencies and all in getting everybody on the same wave. Now, how
That's
many
right.
times have you been riding in a vehicle and heard a song that you've never heard before, and then you thought in your head, whatever was said in that song, you say, "Well, I've been there before."
Absolutely.
That's country
Yeah.
music.
I mean, absolutely.
There you go.
Yep.
It's just living that life and that lifestyle and being part of it.
And
And see,
and and
it's insulting when
and
you see stuff like what we're talking about. I mean,
yeah,
I don't
because
like.
music, to your point, music makes you feel like you're not the only one going through life like this.
That's right.
Like
That's right.
someone else has been there, like they've been here, and I can relate. And that's what is great about music. So, yeah, enough about pop. Let's talk more about you. I mean,
Yeah, let's get it.
talk
I'll tell
about
you.
let's talk
Yeah.
about your music, because I know you got some. You got some good things going on. I know you got a new song out today.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to hear a little bit about, I know you've been pretty much an independent artist to this point, right? And
Yeah.
you've recently linked up with a label, correct?
Yep.
If I
Sure
got that
did. A
right.
Hero Records.
Yep. And so, like, what about that label set that apart? Because in this world, you got to be very careful who you dot that ink
That
on.
is a wonderful, excellent question. And as you ask that question, I'm actually in A Hero Lodge, Livingston Lodge, right now, as we are talking. A Hero is a nonprofit or started off as a nonprofit organization well over a decade ago now, and it focuses on the prevention suicide for our vets and first responders. A Hero actually stands for American Heroes Enjoying Recreation Outdoors. I'm
Love it.
proud to say and blessed to be a part of this organization for over a decade now. And in over a decade, this number is still staggering to me. In over a decade, we have helped over 10,000 vets and first responders and
That's
counting.
great.
And
Well,
my best friend, Lee Stuckey, he's the one that started this whole thing, and it's branched off into so many different ways. And he asked me a few years ago about, Kevin, let's do something music for A Hero, because just like Marcus said, music heals. And we write songs and stuff, and being a songwriter, we got linked up with several other songwriters, including one of my best buds, Jeff Sylvie. He writes for George Strait, and George Strait recorded some of his songs. Mike Corrado, Rusty Tabor. I mean, some excellent, excellent songwriters, big names in Nashville. Mike's been all over the place. Mike is actually my producer now with A Hero Records. Now, how that branched off is we got together and we would go to these different events and stuff that A Hero would put on for our vets and first responders, and we'd put on a little concert. But what we would do before is we would find one particular vet and tell his story through song. So we would sit him down and get him to tell us something that was impactful to him, what got him in the Corps, what got him in the Marines or what have you, something that impacted his life to where it's something that he thinks about every day. Well, we take that and turn it into a song. And we've done that several times. And I'm telling you something, boys, when you're singing somebody else's true story right there in front of them for the first time and they hear it, and you see a grown man break down, you know you did something and you broke through. You broke through to them. And we've done that many, many times, and I'm very, very proud of that. And A Hero Records has actually branched off of our A Hero organization. We just recently opened up a brand new studio just south of Nashville, and Mike Corrado was actually the one heading up at Harmony Hill, Tennessee. Grunt Tunes, A Hero Records up there, and y'all can find all that stuff on my Facebook and social stuff. And I have been too blessed with these guys, and the number of people I've met and the connections, they're immeasurable. I can't even write them all down. If I did, it'd be a heck of a book, I can tell you that. But that's how I got hooked up with A Hero. And man, when I tell you the talent that I've seen, our military, when we think military, we think exactly that, military, pop, 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 pop. Well, I don't see that. I see the other side of these men and women, and I see the side that's just like me and you, and I see there are some incredibly talented songwriters and musicians.
Yeah.
I mean, like just recently, Tim Murray, Tim Murray's probably one of the most prolific songwriters I've ever heard, and he's probably somebody you've never heard of, but
That's
you
right.
will soon.
Yeah.
Tim Murray's impressive, but
Well, I
folks,
mean, let's talk about Zach Bryan.
same different. There you go. There you go. Bingo, bango.
You know
Right
what I mean?
there.
Like, it started out with YouTube when he was overseas, and
Yep.
then blew up overnight. I mean, they're more than a soldier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is a soul to, and especially probably even more of a soul.
Oh, he puts the
to what
soul in
they've
soldier.
seen.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. He puts the soul in soldier. True story.
But I mean,
that's how we started.
the best part about that, it was all organic around his part as well. You know, like it all started on YouTube. So like,
Yep.
I love these stories like this.
So these spots that you have, the studios, anyone or anyone in the military can come.
Yeah, it's
Studio time. Is it set up like that?
Yeah, first and foremost, what if anybody listening here that has anybody in the vet, anybody's a vet or first responder, anybody in the military, I encourage you, please go to aherousa.org, aherousa.org. And the thing is, we know, and by statistics alone, our military and our first responders are going through a very, very hard time right now.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you something else. People don't pretend to be depressed. They pretend everything's okay.
That's right.
Yep.
And we see that more and more often. And as we hear the tragedies that occur, you think, well, that's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. We got to find some way to kind of break through and try to let them know that, hey, you're not alone. Number one,
That's right.
you're not alone. And number two, there's help. And we can help you. And just sign. All you got to do is just go to that website, sign up, and either I'll call you or my wife will call you or somebody get in touch with or reach out and try to figure out some stuff, see if we can get you on one of our trips, and that really helps too, because we have trips down there in the Gulf. We have the Warrior Hookup, which is coming up here next month, actually. And we get boats chartered by some fantastic donors. I'm talking the Wharf. The Wharf is we got the owner of the Wharf is one of our guys, Mr. Favre. He's an awesome guy.
That's Brett's uncle, right?
You are correct.
Yeah.
Mr. Favre is a wonderful person. I've met him many times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, look, the Wharf. Favre does a lot of great things for people.
Man, don't he?
He really does, and I love to hear that. I love to figure out how we could be a part of that as well.
Yes, absolutely, man. I love it.
Yeah, no, that's really great, man. That's this is what it's all about, right? This is really what it's all about, is helping people.
That's it,
healing
man.
people.
Giving
people a voice, because some people may not be able to talk about it, but they can sing about it.
Exactly. I have been in a position to where they've asked me to speak and do my testimony and stuff, because I'm gonna tell you, I've had some crazy stuff happen to me, boys. When I tell you all crazy, I could write a Lifetime movie of the week on this thing, boy, and write a book that would sell twice in New York.
Sure.
Crazy stuff. I mean, crazy stuff. But when I give my testimony, I try to present it in a way to where it's not necessarily generic, but you can, associate it maybe something that's going on in your life.
Right.
And I had somebody tell me something one time. This one guy, one soldier, he goes, I've been to church 100 times, but I've never heard it like the way you said it. And that hit me right between the eyes, man. I was like, well, that's what I got to do. Well, that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be talking. And like I said, I am far from perfect. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. I'm not anything like that, but I'm a firm believer in Lord Jesus Christ. I know who put me here on this earth and know who's going to bring me home.
Amen.
And I write songs about it all the time. And as a matter of fact, just wrote one just recently called I'm Coming Home. And I'm Americana, so that means I play a little bit of everything, Southern rock, gospel, bluegrass, a little bit of everything. And the first verse in that song is very hard for me to sing, because when I wrote it, I was going through some serious trials and tribulations.
Right.
I'm talking some hard times. I'm talking, when I tell y'all, health scare, I've had so many of them, I've stopped counting. I've just stopped even worrying about even keeping a tally of it. I'll just say, how many times do you think it happened this week? I'm like 3, maybe 4. But
Right.
the first verse I wrote in that was, I got to thinking about one time I was saying my prayers, and I had so much running through my mind that I didn't know what to ask first. Whew. True story. So I didn't know what to ask for first. I didn't know what to pray for first. And so I was like, you know what? That sounds like a song. I was like, I need to write a song about that. And so it just came out, and I wrote the song in about 10 minutes. But the first verse is, Lord, there's so many troubles that's running through my mind that I can't pick out one to borrow your time. Now that is some powerful stuff right there. You know,
Yep.
the world is heavy on your shoulders when you don't even know what to pray for first.
That's right.
Yep.
But the good news is, the good news is, no matter which one you pray for, they're all answered. They're all heard. And what we got to get in our mind, this is the thing that there's the epiphany for me that changed my whole thought process. There's your plan and then there's God's plan. Okay, now if you want to see God smile, tell him your plan. Because that's not his plan. I'm telling you right now. So it's some crazy, wild stuff that I could go on and keep talking about, but it's something that impacted my life and changed me for the better. I can tell you that. It changed me for a lot better. You think you're doing good? Nah. No.
I tell you, I'm looking at the clock here, and I don't want to get too far into where we can't hear this fantastic song that I've been listening to.
I'm sorry. Look, you know what? I
love it.
Let me tell you, by the way, great message for Easter.
Unbelievable message, yes.
Great. I will make sure this gets out before Easter, because great message. You're 100% right.
I've lived it and done it, and I want people to understand that just because you're going through some hard stuff, don't close in. Don't become that recluse where you don't want anybody to help you, because pride has been the fall of many man, including this dude right here. Pride will keep you from asking for help. And that right there, I'm telling y'all boys, that's just like the devil. That's just like the devil talking. That's all it is. See, and the thing is, it's crazy how this stuff works for real, because, you know, when you live a life without any worry, any trouble, any care, everything seems to be coming your way. How many times you've been told, man, you're the luckiest person I've ever met? Well, that's the devil working, man. Yeah. Because sometimes the devil makes life very easy for those, and it's just like a jail cell. It's like a comfortable jail cell, and you have everything you'd ever need and ever want, and there's no reason for you to call for God for anything, because you have everything you need right there.
Yep.
Until it's too late, and that door closes.
Understood. Yes, sir. Amen.
You don't want to be in there. just trust me. Look at the book of Job, boys. Job went through hell and back, but it was all just to prove that he was the one that had the strongest faith. But I'm telling you all this. I could get on my little tangent and talk about that, but anyway.
It's a great
9 parts with you, brother. I'm with you. I'm right beside you.
Yeah. Taking you to church tonight, boys. Woo!
Let's do it.
But no, we want to hear your music, man. Yeah, I got a new song out. Let's man.
I got my guitar over here. Now I guess the way I'm gonna have to do this, because I don't know if I can put my little micro. I'm gonna have to try to lay it up here, and maybe y'all can hear me singing through this thing. But I ain't gonna be able to have it in my ear. Is that cool? We're just gonna like finger stuff, and you kind of show me like, hey, Kev, we can do this and we can do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on just a second.
I'll also give everybody the link to get to the very nice produced one as well. So
thank you, buddy. All right, hang on here. Let me see. Get my old Takamine. I have to tell you a funny story about this. Next time we do a podcast, I'll have to tell you the story behind this guitar right here.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild, I'm telling you. Okay. All right,
so do that right there.
Oh yeah, boy. Come on with it, man. You
I ain't played in a while, but yeah, we should get together and dig out, man.
Man, you already know, dude. I'm gonna ask y'all something. Now I've got 2 songs that I can play either way, but I got one song that ain't nobody ever heard, and it's a blues song. And when I tell you a blues song, I'm talking about this is a catgut blues song. I'm talking about it sounds like it was straight played on WBIL on Tuskegee on Friday nights.
I dig it. Yes, sir.
Well, let's do that one. because that'll be fun. This is
Yeah,
called Too
no,
Young to Get the
100%.
Blues.
Hell yeah.
I wrote this song because I was born and raised in Tuskegee, and on Friday nights, that's how I learned to play my leads, boys. That's how I learned.
Really?
'Cause I was listening to all the Kings, Freddie King, Albert King, and let's see, Freddie, Albert, B.B. King, and I would listen to how they'd bend those notes. It wasn't fast, but it was on time, and that's really what got me. So I really enjoyed listening to stuff like that. All right, I'm gonna pull this thing out,
We
and
can
I'm
hear it.
gonna
Hey,
catch y'all.
listen, we can hear it fine right now.
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure I can get y'all right here. Make sure this thing don't fall.
Looking at good. That's good.
Sorry. Okay, can you hear me? All right, here we go. Y'all hear that get fiddle right there?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I get a little loud because I'm a loud dude when I sing.
Sing it up.
Called Too Young to Get the Blues. This is unreleased. I wrote this one right here, and actually I'm going to be recording this one probably here next couple of months with one of the best guitars you ever heard.
No.
And it's not Kevin Adair. Here we go. My daddy was a rolling stone. Lord knows mama tried. All I got left is this old guitar. What's left of my pride? So when I called a trifling, I gave her the news. This old boy is too young to get them blues. She never gave a reason for leaving till I caught her in a web of lies. She may have gone and broke my heart. When she did, it finally fixed my eyes. Woo! So when I called her trifling, I gave her the news. So boy, she's too young to get them blues. Never saw it coming. When I did, I wouldn't let her choose. 'Cause when she started slipping, I knew I wasn't tripping. And I ain't got nothing to lose. 'Cause my daddy was a rolling stone. Oh, my mama tried. All I got left is this old guitar. What's left of my pride? So when I caught her trifling, I gave her the news. And so boy, she's too young to get them blues. Oh, yes I am. There we go.
Man,
Yeah, boy.
that's great, brother.
Y'all can hear that?
That's
Oh,
great,
yeah.
brother. That is
No,
amazing.
that was good. That was good.
Yeah, that's an
I
old
love
blues
some
song, boys.
man. I love some blues. It's
Yeah, me too.
that's
I used to live
sad
in
that makes you
Charleston.
feel happy, right?
I used to live in Charleston, and we'd go to these little bars, and it'd be 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd wake up just out of some Scotch days, and I'd be like, "Where am I?" And it'd just be some old blues playing. That's great, man. That's brought back some memory. That's good stuff.
Man, I love that stuff. I love it. I'm all about that blues life. And, of course, country. I wish the country
Sure.
song I had released today, boys, it's called Back to Alabama. All right. And I wrote this song about traveling back and forth. And the first part of the song is about doing cover songs. Second part is doing my songs. And the whole time you're just backwards and forwards, you're getting pulled this way and that way. And the what it boils down to is I'm ready to get back to Alabama. I just want to go back home. I just
I
want to
love
go
it,
home.
man. Let's get it.
Yeah, I just want to go home. There we go. I'm gonna play you a little bit of this one, okay?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. I love it.
This is the one that released today. So this one's
I've been listening to it, man. It's good.
yeah. Here we go. It sounds a little bit like some Waylon Sturgill stuff. Hold on.
Sure.
Here we go. Here we go. Looky there. Got my little mic there like I got it. Oh yeah, there she goes. I've been high for so long, so we're taking the outlaw sang them old sad songs. The show made it look easy. So I'm singing their songs all night long. People really love you. Now I got 6 songs to go back to Alabama. Yeah. The wheels keep on turning, chasing that neon dream. Every honky tonk between here and Mississippi, they all know my name. Stopping still while I'm ready to go. Well, I got 600 miles to get to Alabama and another show time to reach. I for so long, so very baby, baby. Woo. I've been gone for so long. I know my baby miss me. Yes, you do. Singing my songs all night long. And the people really love you. Yeah, they do. But now I got 6 songs to go to Alabama. Those big wheels keep on turning, chasing that neon dream. Every honky tonk between here and Mississippi, they all know my name. I've been stopping still, well, but I really gotta go. Cause I got 600 miles to get to Alabama and another show down the road. Lord, I got 600 miles to get to Alabama and another show down the road. Wow.
I love the way you strumming thing, bro. It's got a nice kick to it.
That's got a little stomp to it, boys.
Yes, sir.
Get you mad at it. Just want you just get so mad
I
at
like how you get hyped about it, too. You probably do that all night long, couldn't you?
it. Man, I love it. That song's the truth. I'm telling you, I've been high for so long, getting sober makes me dizzy.
Well,
That's the truth.
And I promise you can attest to that one. So, and many, many people will be able to. That's a great song. I just love it.
100%. And the Waylon back.
You can feel it. You can feel
Beat
it.
of the Waylon. Oh man,
Uncle
I've
Tom,
always
yeah, you
loved
feel
that,
it.
man. That's been one of my favorite things. He had that iconic, just beat to his music, and
that Bakersfield sound, man.
Oh man,
He also didn't give not one damn.
Let me tell you about Waylon, boys. Waylon, I listen to the lyrics a lot, okay? And that's just, let me set this down so I can put this thing over here. But Waylon is one of those, and we were talking about outlaws earlier, right?
So,
all right, so Waylon would write songs that would have innuendos that at the time we were so simple that we didn't understand what he was saying.
That's right.
One of his most popular songs, is Waymore's Blues. Okay, have y'all really listened to Waymore's Blues, and have you really understood the lyrics that he is speaking?
Yeah, probably not. You know,
Right.
I mean,
I'm just going to
Yeah,
talk them
I
out.
cannot say that I've literally analyzed, and I'm a lyrics guy. I am a lyrics guy, but I
Right.
don't know on that particular song that I've ever really paid attention to the lyrics like that. No.
Brother, you sang it 100 times, but you never caught on to it because I
Yeah.
did the same thing.
That's right.
All right, so the line goes, I'm just going to talk it out. I've got a good woman. What's the matter with me? What makes me want to love every woman I see? I was trifling when I met her, and now I'm trifling again. And every woman she sees looks like a place I came in. Waylon, what are you doing?
That's supposed to have been struck.
Waylon, why is that old WLWI? I'm calling Todd Day right now.
Right.
Don,
Oh,
what are you
man.
playing? That sounds like that's some Conway Twitty stuff right there. T.G. Shepherd, let me tell you something, boys. T.G. Shepherd was the pimp of country music.
I love it, man.
T.G. Shepherd straight up said, "Big, little, short, or tall. Wish I could have kept them all. I loved them every one. I loved them every one. War is hell on the home front, boys. God only knows what a woman goes through."
I'm telling you,
I'm telling you.
every week I think about back to the 80s, back to the 80s, back to the 80s. I mean,
Oh, it's the best. It was the best time. It was the best time without a care of the world. It was just like everybody was just like, and everybody was so career driven that never really paid attention to what they were eating or taking in or drinking.
right.
I don't know why people were drinking Tab. I mean, do they still have Tab?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, good, because that's poison. That can't be good for nobody. But that wasn't good for nobody except for Tab people.
That's right.
But yeah,
That's
that these songs right here is what I grew up on. I grew up I would listen to blues in my room to learn how to play guitar. And my parents would have like Alabama, the band Alabama playing. And here's what I learned. As I'm sitting there listening to like Albert King play like, just whatever Albert King plays, it's just brilliant.
Right.
I got a notice in one time that just so happened that he was playing in a certain key and a country song was in the same key. Well, the leads that he was playing was matching up with the country song.
And it just worked, didn't it? Yeah.
Right. And so, unbeknownst to Marcus and just about everybody at the Strut and Duck, when I played lead guitar, all I was playing was blues leads over whatever anybody was playing. So I was just playing blues. It didn't matter what country song, I was just playing blues.
That's awesome.
And that's true, and that's how I learned. And then I figured out it's just like what Marcus was saying earlier. Music is universal.
That's right.
A G chord and a D chord and a C chord is the same in rap as it is in country, as it is in rock, as it is in whatever. It's all the same note. It's all the same thing. So that's how we're all kind of tied together. But some stuff don't need to be mixed like oil and water. Just my two cents.
Yep.
My two.
Well, hey, look, this has been great, and this has been
It has been good, boys.
A fantastic.
You inspired me. I gotta go find a karaoke jar, boss. I gotta put these pipes out there.
Man, do it, boy, do it. I'll come hear you.
But I'll tell you, I really appreciate your time, and I'll tell you this. I love the fact that you are bringing back real soul music.
It's coming, brother.
Real soul music, and you're doing it for nothing other than what you feel.
That's
like
it.
You're doing this from where your heart and where it comes from is the right place. This isn't about the fame or the glory or the money. This is about you expressing yourself, telling your story, and putting yourself out there. And that is a dying breed today because it's all about the money and the fame right now. So
you're right, brother.
The man upstairs will tell you the ones that lead by their heart, they're the anointed. So, man, God bless you, man. I hope that.
Thanks, brother.
Yes.
Well, and you're also telling the story about Jesus all at the same time, and not a lot of people want to talk about Jesus anymore either. So
let me tell you something, man. That's my number one. That's my number one focus. Is my vision. My vision is to have people like my music and come see me. And maybe there's somebody out in that audience. If there's 500 people out there, if just one person came to that concert that night and I start speaking just like off the cuff, like I do, and maybe it just clicks. If I could change one heart, it was worth singing every note.
I can guarantee you this. I can guarantee you this. There's always going to be at least one out there
I say it is.
that you're tugging on.
I really do.
You're tugging on. Yeah. You're tugging on me already, baby. I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you. Full fan right here.
Well, hey, Kevin, I appreciate it. I really
Yes,
do.
sir.
And
Thanks for having
this
me, boys.
won't be the last time as long as you'll come back. So,
Oh, yeah.
Just let me know. Let me know.
Don't get so big that you don't forget about us, my man.
Oh, no, I ain't going to get that big. Don't worry
If
about
you're ever
that.
in town, they'll holler at us, for real.
I will probably be down there around April. I'll give you a call, Marcus, when we get down there for the Warrior hookup.
yeah,
Good deal.
100%.
All right, thanks, boys. Y'all have a good one. Have a good evening. Thanks for having me.
Take care, brother.
Appreciate
All
it,
right,
buddy.
we'll see you. Bye.
See you.